Alright, so we made it here. What I promised all of y'all, I'm finally doing an easy go-to brisket recipe tutorial for all the at-home cooks that want to know how to do this. Now, I'm not doing competition style, full-on smoking the whole time. This is just the easy, no one's going to know that you cheated on it style brisket. So first, we'll start with trimming up your brisket. These things come with a ton of fat on them, and you don't quite need all of it. So if you look in on this here, that's like extra fat that's not going to do you a ton of good. So make sure you have your sharp knife. A dull one's more dangerous than a sharp one. So don't skimp out on sharpening your knives. So just take off all your little extras like this. Little extras of fat. And the goal here is to have about 1/4 to a 1/2 inch of fat layer on the top. And you'll see here a lot of times on these, they'll have a big chunk of fat on the bottom, like kind of where your flat and your point meets. So we're going to trim that out because that's not doing anybody anything. Trim that out a little bit, all these little pieces, kind of clean them up. Now it's not like super important, but kind of helps everything cook a little more even when they're flat all the way across for even cooking time. So we'll take this, just take a little bit off the top. This one's not too bad. A lot of times you'll see them where they have 1 inch of fat on the top and you don't need all that. So this one's actually pretty good. Take some of that guy off there, and then we'll leave it. So first things first, after you trim it up, I like taking Worcestershire sauce and be real healthy with it, and do this in a pan that you're going to cook in. You can use a disposable foil, or like I have a sheet tray out of a Schaefer dish. And then we'll just, don't be shy about the Worcester. All it's going to do is to make the beef taste more like beef. And coat that on. And we'll do both sides like that. Alright, now next, after you get that all covered up, the seasoning. You can do just salt, pepper, and garlic. That's just basically your basic Texas style rub. I like adding a little bit of paprika. I got a little bit of chili powder, lemon pepper. I have actually put a little turbinado sugar in this one, so it's more like all around. I can use on pork and stuff too. And a little secret I do is I put some celery seed in it also. And don't be shy on this. This is a big piece of meat, so it can take about what you can put on there. Like I said, don't be shy and just kind of pat it all on, because all this is going to be is flavor. And get the top. And you can always just use your favorite barbecue rub. You don't have to make your own either. Like I said, this is for ease. And so I'm actually doing this the night before my cook right now, just for time. So I'm gonna put some saran wrap over the top, throw it in the fridge, and I'll see you in the morning. All right, morning time. We had the seasoned brisket in the fridge overnight. I'm preheating my oven to 235. And so remember, this is cheater brisket, so it's going in the oven for a while because we got stuff to do. Kid's got a doctor's appointment. We can't sit here all day for 12 hours watching the thing. So I'm gonna have it preheated, again, 235. Throw it in there uncovered. You don't want it covered up, because remember, we're not steaming it, we're baking it, and we want to build that crust on the top, like you would getting a bark on it in the pit. So we'll leave it in there and we'll check up with you later. Alright, it's a little after 1:30 in the afternoon now. We put it in at 8. And this is probably about 13 to 13 and a half pound brisket after we trimmed it up and stuff. I've had it sitting at 235 all the way until now. So I want to check and see where we're at on the internal temperature with the instant read thermometer. And just throw it right there in the middle. Try to get right there in the middle of the meat. And let's see here. We're sitting about 166 degrees internal. So we hit our stall point on the brisket, and that's usually about 160 to 170 degrees. And it takes a long time to get through that. And the reason is, at this point, the meat's kind of pushing out some of its juices and stuff, so you're losing temperature. It's like tightening up. And what we got to do is push through this so the meat will relax. And we want, tender meat, so it has to be relaxed fibers. So to help push through it, we're going to adjust the temperature up to 250 degrees and leave it at that for the next hour to push through it. And next we're going to go start the fire on the offset smoker. Alright, we came outside. I'm going to start the fire. I used a small bag of Instant Light charcoal. I always use it because it's super easy to start your fires with. And the wood that we're using today is mesquite for the whole burn because it pushes a lot of flavor into the meat. And usually if I'm smoking the whole time for the brisket, I'll use a mixture of oak and mesquite. That way it's not a little, too overpowering on the smoke and stuff. But today we're really wanting to pack that smoke flavor in that 3 to 4 hours of smoke time at the end. And I'll probably end up doing like 3.5 just for time frame wise because the football game comes on this evening and we want to eat. So I put on that small bag of charcoal. I put on 2 pieces of mesquite wood. I'm going to start the fire, and I'd say give yourself a good half hour to an hour to start your fire before you want to put your meat on. That way you can let that initial stuff burn down a little bit and make some coals, and you can throw a fresh piece of wood on. You can really regulate what your temperature is at. And I would say with the pit, try to keep it in between that 235 to 250 range. I don't have a thermometer on there because I got used to just feeling the pit. But and it's not going to be as even cook as in the oven, but it works out really well. And so we're going to start the fire. Here's our little setup here with the coals and the wood. Real easy light with a lighter or a match. And I got everything open so it can breathe and let the fire go. Alright, it's been about a half hour since we lit the fire. It's burned down really good. I just added another piece of wood on. It's all settled out and nice. We'll go inside and check on the brisket, see what its internal temperature is. It's been about an hour and 15, hour and 20 minutes that I've had it in there at 250 to break through the stall. So it should be good to go. Okay, we had the brisket in the oven for about an hour and 20 minutes or so at 250. I pulled it out. It's at an internal temperature of about 185. You can pull it as soon as you get to 180. It's just I was messing around with the fire a little longer than I thought I was. So I got to 185, which is perfectly fine. So it saves us some cooking temperature that we have to worry about when we get on the pit. That way we just have to worry about smoking. The one thing I did is I took a ladle and took all the juice out from the pan. I have a grease separator. You don't have to have one. You can just put it like in a Tupperware and let it sit out until the fat on the top solidifies. And you can pull that fat off, and we're going to reserve the juice after you separate the fat off for later, and we'll show you that. But now we're going to go throw this guy on the smoker and get it going. Alright, about an hour and a half ago at 3:15 we put the brisket on. The internal was 185. Now you can see this gorgeous piece of meat out here. Come along really well. Like I said, it's been about an hour and a half. The internal temperature on this now is at 190. Got the fire going pretty good. Nice little bed of coals, just smoking away. We don't need super massive amount of heat. Real crucial thing about this 190 stage is that's when all the collagens and stuff start to break down, and the meat really starts to get get tender on these slow cooks. So basically anything after this is gravy. A lot of guys will pull them at this temperature and wrap them up and let them rest, but I really like my briskets a little more tender than some people. So the magic number we're really looking for is 203. But really that's just kind of like an indicator to start checking things, because some will be more tender and some will be a little less tender at that stage, and you really got to feel it and start feeling around and seeing how, basically like meat jello. But it's all about the feel with it. Like these temperatures are really just guides, and you got to feel it out from there.
After that, he shut up.
All right, it's about 5:35. I have my strained out juice here from the brisket that we cooked in the oven earlier. You might not be able to see it, but it's 194 internal temperature. So we're putting this on for about the last half hour to get some smoke in this juice. And when the brisket's done and we rest it, we're gonna pull it out and pour this juice over it from earlier that we took the fat off of, and add some really good flavor to it and get a little extra smoke flavor on top of the about 3 hours that we're getting on smoke for this guy. So I need to put another piece of wood on. It's pretty low now, but like I said, we're doing low and slow, get that flavor, rendering the fat down, breaking down the collagens, making it really nice and tender. Time has come. We're gonna pull the brisket off. It's been about 3.5 hours. It's 6:45 in the evening finally, and we're pulling it off. Remember, I put this on the smoke at 3:15. And look at this gorgeous piece of meat here. We've got up to about 200 degrees internal, and we're pulling it off. We're gonna take it inside and see our juice that we put on to get a little smoke flavor in. We're gonna take that in and pour it over the top and wrap it and let it sit for a little while. Minimum half hour rest with that juice in it. So let's go inside and go do it. Matthew, grab that juice. Let's hold the door for him. The juice is coming. No, you're okay. There you go. Put one of these guys down. Alright. Beautiful brisket. I'm going to take this juice that we smoked and strained of fat, pour it over the top to base the brisket. Make it all nice and juicy, extra flavor. Alright, like I said, minimum half hour rest, preferably an hour, hour and a half. And with this foil, we're going to wrap it. Make sure you do shiny side in, because that reflects the heat off and keeps the heat in to let it rest. And like I said, about 200 degrees. You need it to be jiggly like jello. That's how it's extra tender. Collagen's broken down. Wrap it. And then we'll get back with you when we cut it. The best part about that 30-minute rest on your brisket is you can throw your side dishes on. Like these beautiful jalapeno cheese sausages. And if you can, try to go to your local meat markets, because that's where you get the best product at. All right, everybody, it's been about an hour since rest time, so we're gonna do the great unveiling of the prime time football afternoon brisket cheater Easiest brisket you ever made in your life, and there she is. Look at it. Nice, jiggly, juicy. The smell of smoke, you can't beat it. Break it out. Nice, sharp slicing knife. And we'll go right down the middle. And we're going to cut. Look at that, like butter. Look at this juice. Look at that. We'll do a nice slice for everybody. Just about falling apart, just like everybody likes. Look at that. You pull it, comes apart just perfect. Now, if you really want the smoke ring, which really doesn't matter because we're still getting the same smoke flavor, do the opposite of the process and smoke it first. Because they take that smoke ring, most of it comes in up to 135 degrees. And then after that, it stops. But you can still see we got a little bit of one there. Just from the chemical process of the smoke hitting the meat. But you cannot beat this brisket. And everybody's going to tell you this is one of the best briskets they've ever had. Just because of the quality and time you put into it, you cannot beat it. It's absolutely delicious. Look, even this lean meat from the bottom. Absolutely perfect. So try it out. Like and subscribe my YouTube page. Follow me. Try it out. Let me know what you need. If you have any questions, comment and get back to me. We'll see you later because we're going to still do rib videos, chicken videos, and outside of this cheater brisket, we're going to do a full 12-hour smoke, true Texas style. But this is the easiest barbecue brisket you'll ever make. So get back with me. Let me know what you want to see. We'll have plenty more recipes coming. Like I said, like and subscribe. Tell me how it works out for you, and we'll see you later.